Welcome everybody to Scott County High School. And the band played on as we prepare for Toyota Classic 25 championship game. The boys is the Scott County Cardinals and the Frederick Douglass Broncos, both of whom had an impressive road to get here as always. A little bit of a long, bumpy, winding road for Douglass though, and that may play into Scott County's hands. We'll talk a little bit about that. Scott County with some impressive wins over Christian Academy of Myrtle Beach and then Marion County last night to get here, while Frederick Douglass knocked off Thomas Nelson in the opening round and then went triple, yes, count them 1, 2, 3, overtime to defeat Lafayette in the Lexington bracket last night to set up today's final. I'm Cal Oakes here with Derek Varney. And Derek, this is what we always want. We want what we feel like might be the two teams that are playing the best right now. It's a 42nd district matchup, two teams that have certainly district and regional aspirations this year. What are we expecting today?
Well, it just amazes me, and what I love is how much goes into this one game today. Really doesn't mean a whole lot, but then again, I don't think it counts towards their district standing at all, just because it's kind of like a tournament and so forth. But the way Douglass is going, last year Scott County beats them 2 times, very lopsided games. Douglass much improved, got some fine young players. And Scott County, I feel like the last couple games I've seen have kind of turned the corner. And I know talking to Coach Tim Glenn, he says practices are going well, with his squad as well. And I'm just looking for an outstanding game here today. Kind of looking to see what kind of pressure Scott County puts on them because of what you said, the triple overtime game last night. You have to think, as a coaching strategy, I know we're still dealing with 16, 17, 18-year-old kids who can, go home, get a couple hours of sleep, be ready to go. But we'll see if that factors in with tired legs or not.
Only 10 days ago, these two teams met in their first district game of the season. Frederick Douglass at Frederick Douglass came out on top 73-61 that night. I kind of felt like that game really wasn't even as close as that score made it look. Scott County just really, and I think Tim Glenn would agree with me, got outworked that night. Maybe a little bit out-athleted, and just every loose ball seemed to go to Douglass. Of course, being on the home court is different. The enthusiasm, adrenaline rush of the Toyota Classic will be different as far as Scott County is concerned. And, coming in here on a roll certainly will play in the Cardinals' favor. They are now 9-10 on the season. It's been kind of an up and down start the first 2/3 of the way for SC, but looking to put away another big trophy in the school's sprawling case today. I want to update you. Hope you watched the girls' final on the NFHS network. We weren't there for you because we had last night's game. Scott County with the upset, at least on paper, of number 2 Simon Kenton, 50-48. I don't think most of us who watched the girls would have ever dreamed that we'd say defense would win them a big game like that, but it certainly did. All the old maxims about defense winning big games and championships came into play, as it was not the Lady Cards' finest hour offensively.
Right, and I don't think they were going to be able to match what we saw last night out of Morgan DeFore and, of course, Maleo Williams and the whole team. But when you're shooting the ball like that and you have someone put up 54 points, just a career night, which was I heard today, this morning, I saw Judge Joe Pat Covington. We were in a gym this morning. I said, did Rebecca Gray ever do that? Or you card?
53.
53. I was like, yep. So that was a record. So anyway, just looking, this Toyota Classic is always just a premier tournament around the state of Kentucky. And there's been some great teams coming and playing it over the years, some great out-of-state teams. And this one, I think, is going to live up to its billing as well, with just kind of the cherry on top, it being probably two of the top teams in the 11th region. Yeah,
Morgan had a tough day offensively, but when it counted, she had the driving layup, banked it in off the glass with 5 seconds remaining to give SC the huge win. They are now 15-5 on the season. They've won 12 of the last 14. Only in-state loss was to Ryle, a team that Simon Kenton blew out, and Simon Kenton came in having won 13 in a row with 20 wins already, so a huge victory. Boys consolation bracket, Great Crossing your winner there. They backed up last night's win over Thomas Nelson with another victory this morning over Wayne County, 60-54. So a good one for the Warhawks to get on the plus side again at 11-10. And Great Crossing girls had a tough one. They lost to Lincoln County 70-49 just this afternoon. So they went 0-3. Obviously a very tough, loaded girls division with Scott County, Simon Kenton, and Lincoln County all perennial kind of tournament teams or contenders. And Great Crossing certainly with a little learning curve there, but they will bounce back. And we are going to get ready for the national anthem from the Scott County Band, and we'll be back after that with the starting lineups for what should be a great one here at the Classic. We just had it pointed out to us by D.T. Wells that Tim Glenn is in the Billy Hicks Championship Round red blazer today. It's beautiful. It's a great tradition to see.
I love when that's brought out because, like you said, it only means one thing. We're playing for a championship
we are
at some level or some tournament.
It's a serious tournament title on the line. Frederick Douglass comes in with a record of 14-6. They're led by Deshaun Jackson, who averages 19.2 points per game, and Jalen Green, who averages 14.8. But they're very deep. They play about 9-10 guys most of the time. You'll see Cameron McMullen, Jarvis Bird, Julius Searcy, Aiden Reed, who's a good three-point shooter, Bilal Chad, who's a big man who gave Scott County fits in the first regular season meeting. Scott County led by Taryn Hamilton, who has really, Derek, taken this team on his shoulders the past few games.
He totally has, Cal, and I've said all along, which sometimes it may sound like I'm being a little hard on Taryn. It's because I see the potential and I know the potential, and it's almost like you just want to grab him and shake and go, son, you're one of the best players in the state. He's kind of kicked that in now. You know, the performance against Myrtle Beach the other night, he just completely dominated them. Then you come out last night, and he is hitting big shots at big moments. He hits a big three last night. We almost like, you know, don't take that in that situation when we're up, 8 points. You might not want a three, but he knocks it down, and he just seems like he's become playing more of a leadership role, and it's making people around him better.
And as Tim Glenn said to me, it's nothing that he said to Taryn. Taryn kind of came in this week, and it was sort of self-motivated. He had a different walk, a different talk, and a different way of leading his team that he came in with coming into this Classic. And it has borne itself out in two very impressive performances. Had 3 dunks the other night against Myrtle Beach in that 94-49 victory. Elias Richardson's really come on as well. He was 9 for 11 last night against Marion County. And as Tim has told me, this team is starting to figure out, each guy is starting to figure out what he's good at, and they are doing what they're good at. Taryn, just that athleticism, that ability to stroke the feathery three, but also get to the rim. Elias has been posting up like crazy and getting good, high-quality, high-percentage shots. And then you look at a guy like Aaron Leake who can distribute and get to the rim. McCaleb Coffey, the defensive stopper. Josh Breadwood and Silas Amongo off the bench doing that very same thing. I think the sky is kind of the limit for this team. Chase Grigsby, don't want to forget him. He's hit some big shots in this tournament. This team seems to, as you've said and as Coach has said, turning the corner.
They really are, and you don't want that to be too early, and you don't want that to be too late. I think it's just about the right time. Throw the record out. Scott County, hands down, has the toughest schedule in the state of Kentucky, and that goes back to, that's the way Coach Hicks liked to play it. So Tim Glenn kind of inherited that. Did he want to play Madison Central and Douglas back-to-back last week when he did split those? But you had a tough Madison Central team always, and then you travel on the road and go to Douglas and you take a loss where it looks like you didn't even compete. So now you just got to recover from all that. Keep practicing hard and keep playing the way they're playing, because right now they're playing Scott County defense, and that's the key right now. They are swarming, and the trap is there, and they're causing lots of turnovers.
You just said it. I mean, I feel like this has looked more like Scott County basketball these past couple of games. what we're accustomed to seeing. Regardless of who's, the uniform numbers matching up with the names. This is a totally new team from last year for the most part. But it just seems like, when you talk about peaking, felt like last year's team peaked early. And I know there are a lot of extenuating factors there, Michael Marino's injury and things like that. But this team seems to be getting it at the right time, which I like going into this final third of the regular season.
Yeah, and that's where we go. You want to go middle to late January and take off from there, and here we are. We're going in the last week in a couple days. We're going in the last week of January, and lo and behold, you look up and Scott County's playing Scott County basketball.
And here's the thing: these two teams are playing each other today. They're going to be playing each other on this same court this coming Wednesday night. So, it'll be interesting to see if both coaches show their hand. Obviously, there's a big trophy at stake, a lot of bragging rights, and a prestigious tournament title that's 25 years young, but there's also a bigger game to be played in a few days.
Yeah, there absolutely is. And then again, on down the line, they can face each other. Starting Wednesday night, they can go that one and two more after that. Exactly right. So, but that's just, I think, how wide open the 42nd is this year. Henry Clay's already come in here and beat Scott County. Bryan Station, Scott County beats by 1. Bryan Station knocks off Douglas.
And Sayre's not bad.
No,
they've played
exactly
Henry Clay tough. They've played Douglas tough, and it's a legitimate 5-team. You don't want to be in that 4-5 game, and I think that's a factor for Scott County right now. They really need to look at that Wednesday game as kind of a must-win, because they don't want to get in a situation where they've got to beat Bryan Station or Sayre to stay out of that 4-5 game. That's how deep the district is this season.
And then the thing about it is, you go in 42nd district. If you are runner-up and you go into the region, you still got a legit shot at one of those teams. Got a legit shot at winning the region.
It is going to be a dogfight. As final instructions from coaches Glenn and Wilhite and Mattingly and Woods. And now Taryn Hamilton get ready to jump with Bilal Chad of Frederick Douglass. Douglas in the road greens.
Bilal Chad is a specimen, isn't he?
He is. He looks like he's even more fit this year. He was a good player last year, but he has taken it to another level. He wins the tap to Jaden Henderson, will be guarded by Taryn Hamilton. Coffey gets a hand in there.
McCaleb.
Jackson recovers. Deshaun Jackson takes it to the rim, but he is stopped by Leak, and Leak will try to tie up the loose ball and be successful. And immediately, Scott County's defense right in your grill.
You see Deshaun Jackson was trying to take McCaleb Coffey off the dribble, which I think that's a game plan, because he can get to the rim, and then just a beautiful help by Aaron Leak with the hands.
Leak brings it up. Half-court defense by Henderson. That was a factor last time. You just see the hands and the quickness there, and Henderson will get an easy 2.
They got to bring a big man up and screen for one of the guards here, Cal. They can't. They're going to wear their point guards out right here.
That looked too much like the first game there.
Yes.
Leak to Coffey, over to Hamilton. Hamilton on the wing, back to Grigsby. He will take it to the foul line. Floater rolls around, no good. Tipped around by Elias Richardson, but Chad gets the rebound. And quickly out to Jackson. Jackson drives the left baseline. Stopped by Coffey. He'll get it back to Henderson. Henderson to the rim, looks off of Chad's foot. Richardson picks it up.
That's 3 possessions, 2 turnovers by Douglas right now.
That's a good trend for Scott County.
And you keep the ball hopping on their end. I don't like when they get stagnant. Right here, keep moving, keep screening. See this standing right here? That's what hurts them a lot.
I'm not a big fan of half court with this team. I think they need to be free-flowing and get out and go. Coffey inside to Leak. Dribbles it back to the corner. Now fire a long 3, which is short, and a rebound to Jackson.
And Coach Glenn's getting on him because I think Leak is probably around a 20%. Wow.
Jackson with a strong take.
Wow.
4-0. Yeah, you're right. As Coach Glenn has talked about doing what we're good at. Leak can hit a 3, but maybe not from the Toyota Classic decal on the 25 feet away.
They need to look to throw opposite on that trap when they're going to run at Chase Grigsby, as we've talked before.
Wild pass tipped by Hamilton. Grigsby tried to recover, but it goes to the Douglas bench, and the Broncos will have it with a 4-0 lead. 6:12 remaining first quarter.
Scott County needs something to eat. They've caused a couple turnovers, but again, the stagnancy on the offensive end, that's got to change. They got to be, I don't say speeded up, but then again, it's not in a sense of urgency. They just need to be more hungry to score.
It's a double-edged sword, because do you want to run with Douglas? Probably not, as Jackson hits a little fadeaway to make it 6-0. Jackson with 4. He only scored 6 against Scott County last time, but his teammates certainly picked him up that night.
Yeah, I think what I heard, there was about a 3 for 17 shooting performance. It was
exactly
pretty bad.
Right.
He's off and running tonight. That kid can get to the rim.
He had 30-something when I saw him against Great Crossing,
Wow.
so I know what he can do. Averaging 19 Hamilton still can't get Scott County off the schneid. 5:30 remaining first quarter. Rebound for Henderson, who'll bring it up quickly. Bounce pass to Chad. That's too easy. 8-0 Douglas.
Yep.
And Tim Glenn will get a timeout.
This is a bad athleticism matchup here, Cal.
Douglas doesn't look like a tired team that played triple overtime last night.
Oh my goodness! But they can't continue to beat us off the dribble and shoot layups. If we're in for a long night, if that's the case.
Bad shot selection so far.
And that's due to Douglas's defense as well.
Yeah.
They play well on the defensive end.
They get their hands in your face for sure. Leak inbounds to Coffee.
They're going to guard you from end to end. You got to come out and set high ball screens. Come out and set high ball screens and be able to turn the corner and get to the bucket.
Grigsby guarded closely by McMullen. Now Leak looks inside to Hamilton. That's an important one, but it rolls around and off. They just cannot buy a bucket right now. End to end goes Jalen Green, and it's a double-digit lead. 10-zip. Touchdown and a field goal.
Yep, this could get ugly. I mean, because it's a struggle on one end and easy on the other.
They're just getting layups, are the Douglas Broncos. Aaron Leak surveying the scene.
Taryn's got to work down there. You see, once they're hitting him and bodying him up down there, he's kind
Leak
of stepping
step
back.
back three, yes. I'm not sure I like the shot when it left his fingers, but we'll take it. 10-3.
Well, and Douglas knows one speed when it comes out of the net. They will beat you up the floor.
They do not waste any time. No shot clock needed for the Broncos. And that's a bad bounce pass, and they've turned it over 4 times, so that's been the saving grace.
4 times, and you're up 7. We have to capitalize. See, they got Grigsby going against 2 guys here. There we go.
Leak and Grigsby playing pass in the backcourt. Trying to get around that Douglas pressure. Now Grigsby bounce pass inside to Hamilton, who will post up. No. Gets his own rebound, though. Yes.
He needed that right there. Taryn has to, instead of going, he makes himself smaller sometimes when he catches the ball inside. Make yourself as big as possible and go up through their chin.
Lead is cut in half, 10-5. 3:53 remain first quarter. Another drive and bounce pass to Chad. No good. Hamilton rebound. Hamilton quick. Wow, he telegraphed a pass to Coffey, picked off by Jackson. Jackson step back 3. Yes. Jackson was 7. And it's 13-5, Frederick Douglass.
All right, I'm impressed.
Jackson's a good player.
Yes, he is.
He's right up there with Mr. Warwick from Henry Clay in the district. Coffey for 3, short. Rebound, Jackson. Jackson long pass to Chad, catches it. Bounce pass backward to McMullen. Long though, but wow, right there for the rebound is Green, and nobody blocked out.
Scott County's got guys watching the flight of the basketballs. But you got to find someone and make contact.
Ball watching.
Absolutely.
15-5, 3:05 left, first quarter. Grigsby guarded by McMullen. Over to Leak. Boy, they just get right up in your face.
They really do, and things take so long to develop. That's a foul right there. It's a good job, Aaron Leak.
Leak draws the contact, and we'll get to the line. I think the Cards need to do a lot more of that. That's the first foul that's been called in this game. It took 5 minutes to get there.
It did. Well, I mean, because Scott County's bad shot selection. Right. They really are. Settling bad shot selection, and then that's, bad shots, same as a turnover.
Aaron Leak makes the first. He's bounced back. The Douglas game a week and a half ago was his first game after missing a couple with a sprained ankle. I was surprised he came back as quickly as he did, actually. He was limping around badly and on crutches for a couple of days.
Interesting substitution there with Richardson going to the bench.
Sometimes he goes into offensive funks.
He does.
And Coach Glenn would like him to snap out of it.
Long athleticism bothers him, as it does a lot of people.
Breadwood, he was bothersome to Douglas in the last game, so he's in there right now. Floater for Jackson. He can't be stopped anywhere right now. 9 points for Deshaun, 17-7.
Coach Glenn may need to consider after a while just maybe looking at a zone and see what they do with the zone.
Travel. Another turnover for SC. Just been a rocky start for the Cardinals here on their home court in the 25th Toyota Classic. You kind of want to at least keep it close. You don't want to get demoralized going into a rematch on Wednesday night that counts for a lot more. Bird kicks it back for another three-point attempt. It's in and out.
That's the part that can't happen right there.
And you got one guy going up against 4 Scott County Cardinals and grabbing the rebound, Jalen Green.
Right, and our guys, Jalen Green is working to get position for rebounding, as you should. Our guys are watching the flight of the ball.
Julius Searcy took that three-pointer. He's a heck of a baseball player, and he helps him get it done on the basketball court as well. Inside to Jackson, unstoppable, 11 points for Deshaun Jackson.
Jackson is headed toward a Morgan DeFore night.
Yeah, he's on his way, 19-7. He's outscored Scott County by 4 so far. Not the start, to say the least, that Scott County wanted and needed. Grigsby into Hamilton, kicks it back to Breadwood for 3. That rolls around no good. Hamilton fought for the rebound. Grigsby there as well, but it's off of Grigsby to the Broncos.
Taryn's battling. I like seeing that. He's battling. It's tough in there.
He's scuffling right now.
But what's hurting Scott County so bad is they're doing nothing but dribbling on the offensive end. They're getting nothing out of their offense.
Deshaun Jackson, no answers for him. It's Breadwood on him at this point, maybe to try to get into his head a little bit. Bird for 3. Jarvis Bird joins the parade, and it's 22-7. An impressive opening chapter for the Frederick Douglass Broncos as Leak tries to take it to the rim, but he has 2 guys stop his progress. Thrown out of bounds, batted out of bounds. It will stay with the Cardinals. 1.25 minutes to play here in the first period.
Probably be willing to bet that obviously when Frederick Douglass looks across and sees the Scott County jersey, that's kind of their Super Bowl, because you can watch and see their scores and what they've done. It's not like they're blowing people out, but right here, I haven't seen many teams better than them this year, and I've only seen, we're looking at one quarter.
Yeah, their student section on Twitter after their first win was posting some smack, and I kind of said, you know what? So you're 1-13 now against Scott County's 2 varsity basketball programs. I guess congratulations on that. But hey, you got to be happy with something. And certainly they're backing it up today as another turnover and over and back as Micah Glenn, who just checked into the game, kind of got caught napping there. 22-7, Douglass, your score.
You got to stop the bleeding here. You definitely got to stop the bleeding.
The water 3 feet high and rising right now over Scott County. Deshaun Jackson has been the man. He dribbles and kicks it back to Green. Green has it taken away by Leak, and Hamilton picks it up.
Aaron Leak is so good as when the opposing team brings the ball to their knees.
And now reaching in is Green, and he'll pick up the foul, the second on the Broncos. Still none against Scott County. Aiden Reed checking in for Frederick Douglass. You got to watch him from 3-point range. He hit 3 or 4 the last time they played. Kind of opened things up.
Yeah, I'm sure he's the first off the bench for a reason.
They're getting 3-pointers in the flow tonight.
Yes.
The first game, it was a lot of offensive rebounds and kickouts that led to those threes. Second chance for Leak, rolls around, no good. Now Coffey tries to save it off of Douglass, and instead he starts a Douglass fast break. And it's finished by Julius Searcy. 24-7, and I don't mean work ethic. I mean the score. Douglass is putting it to Scott County right now.
Big time, and there's nothing being done on the offensive end again.
Coffey throws it away again, and just nobody goes after it. This is just not good. Leak blocks it, and then kind of stares down Jarvis Bird. I don't think there's any cause to be staring anybody down right now, Aaron.
No. Because Mr. Bird, all he's got to do is look up and stare at the scoreboard.
This has been a clinic so far for Frederick Douglass, other than the turnovers, and Scott County can be thankful for those. They've given it right back to them. Reverse layup, everything falling right now as Bird makes it 26-7, and Lake from way, way away at the buzzer can't get that to fall.
Well.
And Douglass is up 19, 8 minutes in. Will, you got any words of wisdom right now, Derek?
No, I don't. I mean, stay positive, Coach Glenn, which he will. Stay positive, and again, as we talk, 19 by halftime, 19 has to go to about 9 or 10. That's exactly how we have to do it to try to take little bites and cut back into this lead. And again, cause turnovers. I mean, they did cause some turnovers, but the straight drives to the bucket and the easy layups, that can't happen. Those have to cut out if they stand a chance of getting back in this.
It's a tough assignment to this point.
Big time.
As Douglas, Jackson with 11, Green with 4, Bird now has 5 after that drive. I want to thank our sponsors for making this broadcast and all of our Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network broadcasts possible. Bluegrass Orthopedics, Burger King, of course, Toyota Motor Manufacturing of Kentucky. They'll present our player of the game today. Galvin's on Main, Green's Toyota of Lexington, Georgetown Community Hospital, West Banco, Central Bank, Raising Cane's, Chick-fil-A, Clark's Pump and Shop. You can get News Graphic in there as well. You're hopefully either listening to this game at newsgraphic.com or watching on the NFHS network.
They're going to continue to do the same thing because Chase Grigsby's going to his left every single time on the offense, which makes him an easy target. He's got to do something different. He's got to stop and go, and he's got to go ahead. You can't play with the ball in this situation. You've got to go ahead and blow by the defender.
Just kind of a shell-shocked look for Scott County.
The body language.
Yeah, it's flat. Hands down by their hips. Richardson just inside the arc, no good. Hamilton tries to tip it back. Now third chance is good. Tarrant with 4 points. Leak has 5. That's it for Scott County, 26-9. Jarvis Bird for Douglas, guarded by Hamilton up top. Bounce pass.
Oh, that's good D, Micah.
Searcy.
That's really good D.
Micah stopped the progress. We run out of bounds off of Micah Glenn.
He moved his feet and used the baseline as a defender.
Jackson to Searcy. Back to Jackson. He loses Coffee, drives the baseline, up and under, no good. Second chance is there for Julius
right,
Searcy.
And that's right over top of Elias Richardson.
Quick break for Richardson, and he makes it up with a 2 at the other end, but basket for basket ain't going to get it done right now. 28-11, Frederick Douglass. Now a wide open 3 for Aiden Bird. Nothing but nylon. 1 minute into the second quarter, it's a 20-point deficit for the Cards. Didn't think I'd see that today. Now it's thrown away again. Deshaun Jackson leading the break. Jackson kicks it over to McMullen. McMullen drives the baseline. Pass out. Another 3-point attempt, no good. Glenn rebounds. Searcy wild on that shot.
Micah needs to go ahead and go when he's got a
Coffee
open lane there.
Inside to Richardson, who will post up. Hook, no, but he'll draw the contact. And again, you said body language. You just keep seeing it from everybody.
Right. You see Elias throw his hand after, he did get bumped and did get fouled, and then he throws his hands in the air. It's just frustrating. It really is. Especially when you look up and you're in the championship game of your own tournament and you're down 20.
All your friends and family and people who probably haven't seen the team play all year, and you want to make that kind of impression, and not this one. He makes the first. As Chad checks back in along with Henderson and Green for Douglas, and that's what they'll do to you. They'll run 3 or 4 in and out at a time, and it just enhances their athleticism and quickness. Richardson makes both free throws. 31-13. Mirror image on the scoreboard right now.
Yeah, we need to, again, cut this thing in half. You got to get some big defensive stops.
You got to get little bites.
Right. You got to get defensive stops right here.
You can get it to 10 by halftime. Crazier things have happened. Ball tipped around, but Chad with the spin move, no good. Off of Searcy, as Hamilton was there fighting for it for Scott County. 6:18 remaining in the half, 31-13. Frederick Douglass on top.
They can't leave. You can't leave.
Micah Glenn trying to untangle the net. Getting the Bronx cheer.
That can't happen right there, Cal. That's what I'm talking about. They're having Chase go against 2 defenders.
And I don't think he's the guy.
Got to move and screen. There you go. Got it to Tarrant.
Grigsby into Hamilton. Hamilton's just got to assert himself here down the stretch of the first half. He'll draw the contact and get to the line once again.
Yeah, and again, there's no matchup for Taryn down there, Cal. I mean, there's not. I mean, they're going to try to bail him up and be aggressive with him.
But he's stronger than Bilal Chad. He's
Sure.
stronger than anybody else they got. But that was the mystery of the first matchup. They just seem to keep him under wraps. Foul's the only thing in Scott County's favor right now. It's 5-0 as Hamilton makes the first free throw. SC is 5 for 5 from the line. And if you can score points and stop the clock, that does help you. He makes both, does Taryn Hamilton. Team high 6 points and a 16-point deficit down from 20. Spin move and one for Searcy.
Yeah, Searcy with Chase Grigsby on him, he's just taking him underneath into the lane and scoring. They're going to have to come off and help when they see that Chase is getting back down. They're going to have to come off and help.
I've heard his name pronounced 3 different ways. I said scarce last year. He's saying scarce tonight. I've heard the Douglas basketball announcer says Searcy. The Douglas baseball people say Sears. He's Julius. They call him Juju. He missed the free throw. 33-15. 5:50 remaining. First half. Grigsby for 3. No. Long rebound.
I don't understand the panic button there.
Nope, they're on it. Henderson, he'll take it end to end. Now kick it over to Jalen Green. Green stops, gets it back to Henderson. Henderson drives, gets it over to Jackson for an open 3. Short. Rebound, Grigsby.
Now go down the middle, fill the line. See, Chase is traveling right behind his wing player. Take it to the middle.
Grigsby over to Leak. Leak inside to Hamilton. Yes, uncontested layup. Need more of that.
Couple defensive stops here and buckets on our end, Cal. We're back in this thing.
Down to 16. I said 10 at the half would be my goal. Let's see.
I tell you what, if our guys on defense, if everybody was as physical as Josh Breadwood.
Yes, and Silas Amongo.
Right.
Deshaun Jackson just cannot be left open to shoot a 3 like that, and all of a sudden the lead's back to 19. Breadwood lobs it back to Grigsby, directing traffic. Inside to Taryn Hamilton. No good, short. Jackson with the rebound and gets the running game going. Leak gets a hand in there and steals it. Jackson gets a hand back in there and saves it to Chad. Chad with a touch pass to Green. And it's a 21-point lead, largest of the day for Douglas.
Wow.
.424 remaining in the first half. I'm kind of speechless. It was a modest run that cut it to 16, but then Jackson hit a 3. And a long rebound. And that's the thing, the shot selection again. Just a lot of long rebounds that are doing nothing but fueling the Douglas fast break.
Right, and what the adjustment has to be made on the Scott County offensive end, Cal, is you have to do something different. You got to get into your flex offense, get into the offense they run, and screen and cut. Make Douglas play defense. All Douglas is doing right now is helping off the ball, and Scott County's selling for long shots.
Sean Jackson, the man of the hour, with 14 points. A couple of threes, and they've been wide open threes.
Nice player. Very nice player.
But it's been a team effort. Green with 6. Searcy with 6. Bird with 5. Reed is at a 3-pointer. And it's been pretty much the Hamilton-Richardson League show entirely for Scott County. They're not getting much out of it. They're a lot like the girls team. It's kind of a 3-headed monster. And then they don't get a lot offensively out of other people. And so the key is you've got to do your part defensively and making plays. It's just hard to do that against a team. It seems like you're playing 7-on-5 with all the hands that are in your face right now.
They're long and they're athletic.
Grigsby brings it up. Even man-on-man pressure in the backcourt is just difficult to deal with from Douglas. Leak picks it up, back to Hamilton. Over to Richardson. Grigsby.
It's a bad angle. One more dribble, Chase.
Hamilton, he's doubled. Kicks it over to Richardson, who's open for a corner 3, but short. Rebound.
You see how Douglas blocks out? Every man had a body on somebody.
Henderson elbows Coffey right in the face. No call. Coffey is down. Three-pointer is good for Searcy.
It was ill-advised. He was cutting behind the kid, and the elbow caught him.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional. But it left Scott County in a bad spot, too, defensively, 5-on-4. He's definitely got at least a fat lip. As Breadwood will check back
he took a nice shot.
It was flush.
There again, one of our guys trying to get open against two men. He does a good job.
Just trying to do too much today,
right.
Everybody.
It's tough.
Just playing out of their head a little bit. Leak to Grigsby, who again will take an open three. It's good. It's not the shot that I would want him to take, but I guess in this situation you need to get bunches here. 41-20. Strong take by Green, but no good. The rebound bounces around. Grigsby falls on the floor trying to get to it, and it will go over the baseline to Douglas.
Again, a layup on this end. Green misses the layup, but he's getting to the bucket way too easy. I don't know. I would go ahead. I know they don't do it much. Try a zone. Just try something.
Got to do something different. They are just carving it up right now. Getting the perspiration off the floor. The referee with Breadwood and Jackson. Jackson high inbounds pass to Green. Gets it back to Jackson, guarded by Breadwood again. Jackson fade away. Boy, I'm telling you what. That's a two.
That is a Division I
just tip
move
your cap
right
there.
Yeah. Breadwood played great defense.
Not a dang thing you can do about it.
Nope.
Bounce pass inside to Hamilton. Stolen away. Jackson got a hand on it.
Taryn has got to be
Henderson
stronger.
takes it the distance. Rebound, no. Leak. Still can't get their hands on it. Now Grigsby tries. Gets tangled up with Searcy. (43-20). I can say with confidence in the 4 years I've been here, I have never seen Scott County trail by 23.
No.
Ever.
I don't think many Scott County teams, Cal,
I don't
have
think many
over the
people
years.
who've been here since the turn of the century
Right.
can remember that. Ball on the floor, and Breadwood will get a timeout. I want to thank a few more of our sponsors, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, your local agent, Steve Skierman. We mentioned most of them the first time around. Burger King, of course, Toyota. TMMK will sponsor our player of the game, which right now, well, they're going to give it to a Scott County player. I can't say as I know who it'll be right at this point.
It's a tough one. Well, again, stay positive. This is where you do your coaching job as a coach when you're dealing with high school kids. You know, it really is.
You just got to get it, cut it little by little, and then you just hope that last night will wear on Douglas in the second half.
Sure.
I mean, you can cling to that at this point, I guess.
But when you got to do that along with, you got to get some of the 50-50 balls and get some turn. We're not getting any of that right now.
And I got a feeling Douglas will do what they tried to do against Lafayette last night in the second half, which is slow it down a little bit.
That's a great move right there.
Baseline drive by Leak. Badly needed basket out of the timeout. Richardson trying to play defense, a little face guarding, and it worked as Grigsby takes it away. Leak for three. No. Richardson fighting for the rebound, but it comes down to Green.
So you have to be happy to have that possession right there after a turnover, Cal. And Aaron shoots from 28 feet out and not even close.
No. Again, trying to do too
Desperation.
much. Stepping outside themselves. Henderson to Bird. Floater. Hook shot. No good. Hamilton tears down the rebound.
And got pushed by Chase Grigsby.
A little friendly fire. Richardson, no. Too long.
Right.
Rebound, Jackson.
A runner. How many runners have you seen Elias Richardson take this year?
Set your feet and shoot it.
Right.
That's when he's at his best. Jackson takes it right to the hole.
Speaking of at their best.
18 points. That's triple what he had the entire game first time around.
They need to get Leak out. He's very frustrated right now. He's taking some bad shots, and now that's a frustration foul where he just deliberately pushes the kid.
Just trying to create some space for himself, and it's a turnover. Douglas threatening to hit 50 in the half. 45-22, 139 left. Getting whatever they want are the Broncos. Jackson guarded by Breadwood. Crossover now to Green. Leak gets his hands in there again, but it bounces to McMullen. They find Jackson open on the right wing. Swish. 21 for Jackson and counting.
Oh, nice half. Jeez.
I got to tell you, he's taking the air right out of this building.
Yep. I think you may see a lot of people go get their UK seat early.
Well, at least
although they play at 6, they may
get
go
whatever meatballs are left in the rumpus room. Leak. No. Foul. He'll go to the line. What time's UK play today?
6.
The Georgetown College game against Lindsey Wilson starts at 4. We might
Starts
be
at
able
4?
to
Wow.
run over and see some of that first, too. I might.
They're still number 1, right?
They are number 1 and undefeated at 18-0. They survived a road test at Campbellsville the other night.
When you have to go to Campbellsville or Cumberland,
Their last loss was at Campbellsville, and I believe it was 343 days ago. Or something. It's a 20. The winning streak's now at 28, going back to last season. Leak makes both. Douglas has doubled up Scott County in the first half, 48-24, 51.1 ticks remaining of a nightmarish start.
Yep. Quite ugly.
And they've got Bourbon County, a top 15 team, coming in here on Tuesday night. Does Scott County, so it don't get easier.
They go Tuesday and Wednesday next week with Bourbon and.
I think it's actually Tuesday, Thursday.
Okay.
I might have misspoke and said Wednesday because the first time they played was on a Wednesday night. At least this time there's a separation between the two games, unlike the Central Douglas double of 2 weeks ago. Playing for one shot are the Cardinals in the final 10 seconds. Just trying to get something to go in the locker room. And it will be Grigsby going to the line to shoot 1-1 with 3.8 seconds remaining. Chase Grigsby has 3 points. He's hit one of the 2 3-pointers for Scott County. Jackson has 3 by himself to go with 3 for his teammates, Bird, Searcy, and Reed. They've done it inside and out, have the Broncos on the way to a comfortable lead. Grigsby makes the first free throw. Caleb Coffey did check back into the game after that elbow to the chops. Wanted to point that out. Grigsby makes both. Blocked 3-pointer, and the second one too late.
And surprised that didn't go.
Everything else did. 48-26, your halftime score as the Frederick Douglass Broncos out of Lexington. It's going to be a joyous bus ride back to exit 110 unless Scott County can pull a miracle out of its hat.
Well, and it can be done. That's the beauty of why we play the game.
We
play
believe.
the second half. Yes, absolutely.
We believe, but now if you're the Scott County Cardinals, do you believe? As Tim Glenn's got to have himself a heck of a halftime speech here.
Yeah, and keep it positive and don't dwell on what just happened. Dwell on what we need to do to get back in this thing.
We'll get stats shortly. They're not going to be pretty. I want to thank you for joining us here on the NFHS Network and at newsgraphic.com. When's our next game? I think it is at the Douglas game on Thursday night.
I think it is.
I think most of the district games are on our schedule, so we may get to do this round 3 later in the week.
It's going to be a win for us no matter what, Cal.
We'll be here. We'll enjoy it. It beats
Absolutely.
working for a living in my case.
It does.
The unpretty stats being delivered by James Scoggin show
They have to be shooting 55, 60%.
61.8 to 29.2. Turnovers, 9 to 5. Not what a way to make a living for Scott County. Rebounds, 18 to 13. Jackson with 21 points. Only 5 away from Scott County's team total. Mon Dieu, it has just been bad. I have not much to add here. Jackson with 21 points.
The half-court shots being taken.
Yes, we're having what are they shooting for? Canes for a year or something like that?
Ooh.
Chick-fil-A?
I think so.
All right, David Rice, you're shooting for 6 pizzas.
Oh, it's pizzas. It's Domino's Pizza, ladies and gentlemen, the kids are shooting for.
What's our turnovers look like there?
Breakfast
in the
for
first
a week, 9 to 5. Scott County with the 9.
Not bad, actually.
I expected it to be a lot worse.
You want
Douglas
that number,
had 4 in the first minute and a half,
right.
I think.
You want that number to definitely be below double digits going into halftime. It's not so much a turnover thing, Cal, as it is just
mental.
on the inefficiency on the offensive end.
Aaron Leak with 9 points to lead Scott County in the first half. Taryn Hamilton had 8. Leak was on 2 for 7 shooting. Hamilton 3 for 8, so 5 for 15 between them. Grigsby had 5.
What's your name? Brooke. You play basketball, Brooke?
And rounding it out, Richardson with 4. He was 1 for 4 from the field.
How about this, huh? Right here. Right here. You're welcome. All right, Brooke. This is for 10 pizzas for Domino's. Okay, good. All right.
Field goal percentage, I just can't get over that. 61.8 to 29.2.
Cal, if we can break it down as well. She hit one. They moved her up to the free throw line. But if we could break it down and talk about, they're shooting 61%. They're shooting great from 3. A lot of uncontested threes, but they're also getting in the paint. There's a reason when you're shooting good from 3, you also have to look at what they're doing in the paint. And they're getting to the bucket, they're beating us off the dribble, and they're able to either score in the paint or kick it out for a wide open 3.
Their inside-out game was spectacular
Absolutely.
a week and a half ago, and it has gone up to another level today. That was a 73-61 game. I said it didn't feel like a 12-point game. Douglas was in control 15-20 late in the third quarter of that one. And this one hasn't been any closer, obviously. And that was the same story that night. Douglas just asserted itself early. Scott County got within, I believe, 6 early in the third quarter, and then it just turned quickly on a couple of threes.
Yeah, so then adjustment that has to be made there. You know, Coach Glenn knows what's happening, and he sees it. His coaching staff sees it. Let's stop getting beat off the dribble. Make them shoot over top. Make them earn every bucket. They're, unearned buckets kill you. They really do. They absolutely kill you. And you look up and you're down 20 points in the first half because everything to them came easy and everything was hard on our offensive end.
It's been a tough one, 48-26. As we said, Douglas 89-88. Triple overtime win over Lafayette last night. It would have been a revenge game for Scott County either way. It was just a week ago tonight. They lost to Lafayette basically at the buzzer, 71-70. Probably in the back of their mind, they wouldn't have minded playing the Generals again,
right,
considering the game next week, and also just Douglas. Douglas is a legit district and region title contender. Right. I think we can agree.
Right.
And they've been slowly building. Scott County had its way with them the first 2 years. 6 wins, all by 25 or more points. Obviously that was a dream team for Scott County and a young team for Douglas. And a team that kind of struggled to find its identity. Jackson was their best player last year, but everybody else seemed to be kind of a role player. Didn't have the offensive skills developed to the level that they do now. Their offense is
it means the world. If you have a good summer schedule nowadays, that helps tremendously as well, Cal. And you know, seeing these guys from what I saw last year, you know, I was over at Douglas last year when Coach Hicks got his record break, you know, the record-breaking win,
1,000.
I guess. Right. And they never really, they competed the best they could. There just wasn't, you know, the basketball talent wasn't there. And then you turn around a year later.
They just struggled to shoot the ball. I remember a couple of games against Scott County where they shot 20% for the night. I think that might have been the case in the Hicks game last year.
Yeah.
They just couldn't get on track. You know, Coach Kurt Young, a journeyman in the business, and he has done a fantastic job over there building that one. It has not been as quickly as obviously their football program rose to prominence.
Right.
But it's been steady and sure, and they're going to be a tough out this year for anybody. And I think Scott County, this is a tough one for your confidence if you're Scott County, because you know to get to regions, you've got to be in that top 2. You've already lost to Henry Clay, which was one of the preseason favorites.
Which was a very winnable, I thought should have won that ball game.
I think so too. They took it down to the last 5 minutes and just couldn't get over that hump. But I haven't felt in either Douglas game like they've been in it.
No.
And that's worrisome.
This goes, this Douglas team kind of reminds you of last year's Scott County team, how teams felt playing them, you know. I mean, it's
yeah, because you got to pick your poison.
You really do.
You know, and Jackson is kind of that, he's a different style of player, but he's kind of their Marino. He's kind of their star. And, you know, everybody around him is better than you think they are. And that's really what you're dealing with when you play this team. They're going for their 15th win of the season against only 6 defeats. And they played a tough schedule. I mean, early on they started 7-0, and I didn't think their schedule was that impressive. But as they've gotten into more of that tournament-style play and the district schedule, it's proven itself to be they're legit.
They really are. I mean, they're legit, obviously, around the state. You know, I know you got some Louisville teams that are very good that I'm hearing, but I think these guys are going to compete with anybody. And the beauty of the 11th region, these guys can go over there and if you make it to the region, they can go out first night.
Douglas lost by a point to West Carter. They lost by 11 at Catholic, which is forgivable. They lost by 3 to Bourbon on a neutral court at Catholic. They lost to Tate's Creek. Tate's Creek's good this year. That was a blowout, 16 points. They lost by 11 to Henry Clay, and they lost by, as you mentioned, 9 to Station at home, which is kind of strange.
Opening game, right?
No, that was on January 17th, so that was recent. That was right before this tournament.
Okay, gotcha.
And then they bounced back with a win at Dunbar, but only by 5. So, you know, in district and against Lexington opponents, they've had a tough time.
Yeah.
But boy.
But again, I think I know I'm biased, but I say that they're still looking across and they're seeing that Scott County jersey. You know, that makes them the triple overtime last night. Obviously it means nothing here today. These guys are playing with a lot of energy. We look like we played in triple overtime last night.
Feet kind of in cement kind of look. And yeah, you're right. You know, Scott County, you're going to get everybody's, you know, the bullseye is on your shirt.
Yes.
You know, it's
as Coach Cal would say, we're everybody's Super Bowl, and that's you know, the fans want to see that game, the community wants to come out and see it. You know, as Coach Glenn was saying, they go to Clay County. There's not another seat in the house when they go to Clay County. You know, places like that.
Dare I say the New England Patriots? You know, people take team pictures in October when they beat them, and that's the kind of thing that Scott County basketball is in the 11th region and in the 42nd district.
No question.
You get them. Even if it's a quote-unquote down year, you're gonna talk it up and you're gonna feel good about yourselves. Second half getting ready to start. Scott County needs to pick up the pace in a hurry.
This first 3 to 5 minutes here of this third quarter is going to be a telltale sign. It really is.
Yeah, you got to cut it in half by the end of the quarter.
Have to cut it in half, then you're okay. You go in down 8 or 10 points in fourth quarter,
and then maybe you get in Douglas's head a little bit.
Yes, yeah, that's going to rock them back on their heels big time.
I think you're going to see Douglas try to slow the pace a little bit. There's no reason for them to be running and gunning up by 22, coming off a barn burner last night. Chad. Bounce pass inside, just like that to Green, easy as pie. 50
How
to
would
26.
you give up a layup coming out?
I don't know.
It's one of those nights.
Hamilton thinks about a 3. Now he'll Stop from the elbow, rolls around, no good. Tipped around, rebound, out of bounds to Scott County. Hamilton for three, in and out. Rebound Jackson. Jackson pushes it up. Coffee on him. Jackson to the rack. Backs it out. Coffee tipped it. Jackson picked it back up and found Green.
That's a good switch off right there. Now there's a
Green
turnover.
throws it
There's
away.
a turnover. There we go. All right, let's capitalize on this.
Good half-court defense by the Cardinals. You got to give them one helmet sticker at a time.
You do. You're exactly right. But this is the key right here. Let's jump into offense, screen and cut, and get easy looks. There's that flare screen for Taryn.
Hamilton with a drive, gets in
Beautiful.
the air, the hesitation, and banks it in. 10
Great
points
offense.
for Hamilton.
That
Yes,
offense right there.
that's
Because
what
of
he's
the
at.
screen.
That's where he's at his best.
Yeah, and there was a huge screen up top for him off the flare screen, and that's what it takes. You can't run by a man in an offense. You got to set a screen.
Yeah, you're certainly not going to beat this team one-on-one as Jackson just shoots a three over Coffee. Coffee can't do anything else there.
No,
You know, he's right in his shorts.
And they're about the same size.
Inside to Coffee now. Yes. 53-30. But just as quickly, back down court, Douglas.
Yeah, there's no
Jaden Henderson
slowing it down.
spins around, finds Cameron McMullen for three off the front of the rim. Hamilton rebound.
Now, I'm okay if he shoots a lot more of those.
Let him do it.
Yes, left-handed push shot. I'm okay with it.
Hamilton for three. Yes.
Got it. Oh, boy.
Gets it to within 20 again.
But you know what that does? You see him clapping his hands on the other end and down on his defensive stance.
Positive energy.
That's 5 for him this half.
Bounce pass inside to Chad. Green gets tangled up with
Jump
Leak.
ball.
Tie-up goes to Scott County. They can get it back down in the teens now. We might have ourselves a ball game developing. I don't want to speak too soon. I'm just rooting for competitiveness right now. Leak.
Nah, see, that'll knock you out every time.
Ill-advised.
That will knock you out of. Now watch what happens here.
Easy rebound for Jackson and a lob pass.
Yep, I would have to give Aaron a break, and I would have given him a break a lot earlier in the first half as well because he's just so frustrated tonight.
Michael Glenn's going to check in. The foul will be on Grigsby, his second. 5:32 remaining third quarter. Douglas by 20.
Oh, it was a trap.
Grigsby trapping in the corner. Jackson trying to take Richardson.
Now, if he
Step
hits that,
back,
I was gonna
front
say,
rim, no good. Hamilton rebound.
I was leaving on you if he hit that one, Cal.
Yeah, you can head to the meatball table if he makes that. Hamilton for three. Same spot, no good. Chases after his own rebound.
Way to get after it right there, Taryn.
And draws the foul on Henderson.
That was all Taryn right there, imposing his will, misses his shot, follows his shot.
Does all the things you need to do.
Right, and gets a foul out of it.
Good fundamental basketball there. And you're gonna take threes at this point. You got to gamble a little bit. You're down 20. Much as I'm a fan of the old school mid-range game. Nice spin move by Richardson and one.
Ooh, that was beautiful right there. My goodness.
Richardson heated up the second half against Douglas last time. They need it to happen again today, no question. Do the Cardinals.
That was a put on a film right there and show a big man how to do your spin up and under.
Him.
Yes, he did.
Completes the old-fashioned three-point play. Richardson was 7. It's down to 17. Henderson brings it up quickly to the corner, and Searcy. Grigsby bumps McMullen a little bit. Now McMullen tries to lose him, gets to the foul line, kicks it over to Searcy for three. Off the backboard and over the top.
Wow.
And Douglas has taken a couple of ill-advised shots.
That's because the defensive end has picked up. You see, we got that bounce. It's called, when you're on defense, you're not flat-footed. You're in your defense stand, and you're bouncing. You got a little bounce ready to go either way and ready to help out. And that's what we're doing.
Don't look now, but Scott County trying to close within 15 midway through the third quarter. Hamilton, guarded by Searcy. Spins, kicks it back to Coffey. Over to Glenn.
Coffey will not shoot that, will he?
No, he doesn't want to. It's not his primary inclination. Glenn might. Now he'll drive to the baseline, dips, shoots, no. Tried to get his own rebound, but it came down to Jackson. Jackson pushes it up to Cameron McMullen. McMullen takes it inside to Chad.
A little travel there.
No good. Henderson on the layup. Hamilton the rebound. Ticking down to 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. 53-36. Grigsby for three. Yes.
One time.
Getting 14. Believe it's a 6-0 run.
Yep. Michael doesn't need to play that tight. I know he's good pressure. Don't foul. Don't foul.
Inside, Chad blocked.
Nice.
Hamilton.
Well, Chad knows one speed too, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. All out. Coffee. Richardson gets it back to Hamilton. It's all going to go through Hamilton and Richardson, I think. A block. They called the block. Right call as Chad couldn't get there in time, and Taryn will go to the line trying to cut this to a dozen.
Got a nice momentum swing here, Cal. Really do.
What's that Bill Simmons says when the announcer says, and it's a 12-point game, like you're just inching ever closer.
Yes.
Wanting to get there.
It makes the viewers feel good as well.
First one is good.
It's 6 this quarter for him.
That is 6 this quarter for him. That is 14 on the game. He leads the Cardinals, and he'll have to lead the Cardinals down the stretch if they're going to pull the miracle. Makes them both 53-41. Hanging around.
Don't lose your man. Don't lose your man.
Searcy to Jackson. He hasn't scored. Well, he hit a three-pointer earlier.
Yep, and he took a bad shot after a bad three after that, and that's only his 2 attempts. And I'm okay with his attempts staying down.
McMullen, another ill-advised shot, but he gets the fadeaway to fall from the baseline.
Now that right there, that kid has never hit that shot.
Quick take by Grigsby. Baseline drive is good. Scott County wastes no time with an answer. 55-43. Henderson to Searcy. Guarded by Glenn. Little hand check. .239 to play in the third quarter as Jarvis Bird checks in for Bilal Chad.
He has to be the descendant of former Wildcat, and I don't know if you remember this, Cal, if you were around. Leroy Bird, the smallest Kentucky player to ever play. He was 5'5". And I mean, really, it's got to be an uncle.
He's a small guy.
Yes, very small. But he's built just like Leroy.
Drives and throws a bounce pass to Henderson, who tries to get it inside to Jackson.
Great
blocked
defense.
again by Taryn, recovered by Coffey. Richardson slows it down. Now he'll stop and pop from the foul line. Yes.
Nobody picks him up. There's a timeout from Douglas.
10-point game, 12-2 run for the Cardinals. .216 remaining, third quarter.
As Terrence clapping his hands on the bench and telling him, let's go. Let's go from right here.
Foul line jumper after Hamilton's had a couple of big blocks this quarter.
There's an example of what Elias Richardson did. He had to pick his dribble up at the free throw line. They're coming in transition. Everybody thinks, okay, he picks his dribble up, so we're going to go guard someone else. He knocks down the free throw line jumper.
55-45, it's a ball game again. 2:16 remaining, and we don't want to belabor the point, but Douglas has got to be tired.
The 5:02, by God.
We might have to come up with our own catchphrases if Scott County can come back and win this one.
We can't match that one.
No.
Let's see out of a timeout here.
Steal by Grigsby, perhaps
get on the floor, get on the floor,
diving
get on the floor.
after it. McMullen recovers, he's covered and smothered, and Hamilton ties it up.
Should be Douglas ball in this
It's
one.
still Douglas ball, but that's a big one because the next one goes to Scott County.
And that's, you know what, that's Chase Grigsby denying the ball. He denied the ball, and he got a deflection out of it and almost a turnover.
Grigsby's had a nice half. They only scored on him down there when McMullen hit that impossible shot, and he came right back down and scored himself and has played great defense. Now Green, guarded by Hamilton. Over to Searcy, lob pass inside, dangerous to Jackson, and Hamilton will pick up the foul. Good foul as
it was, but as you Jackson did the NBA clear out with the opposite arm. Did you see that?
Yes. got Coffee out of his range, and then first foul on Hamilton. That's good news. Deshaun Jackson with 24 points. Make it 25 as he rolls in the first free throw to stop the 12-2 run. Makes them both 57-45.
Now this is where Douglas is going to jump into their full court press.
Yeah, they haven't been able to do that because they haven't made many shots this quarter.
Right.
Grigsby falls down, guarded by Bird, the nuisance and the number 0.
Yep.
Hamilton driving on Searcy, recover. Oh, Grigsby stepped on the line. Good call.
Defensive pressure.
Bird and Searcy made that happen. That's their role on that team. They come in and give you energy. They kind of play the role that Redwood, Amongo, and Coffee play for Scott County. Speaking of the devil, Redwood is in for Richardson. Bird with the drive, foul on the floor. It's on Leak.
Yeah, Leak comes back in the ball game and commits a foul immediately.
Probably commits his second foul.
Yeah.
Bird guarded by Leak. Gets it over to Green. Open three for Searcy. Long rebound, Leak.
That's a good rebound.
To Grigsby. Chance to get back within 10 or fewer. Leak to Coffee in the corner.
There's
Hamilton
Taryn.
Inside on Searcy. Steps. Tough call, but I think it was the right one.
I do too, but you got to look at how the guy's being leaned on as well. You know,
yes,
Taryn,
they have missed a couple of those.
You have to let the offensive man establish position for one thing, and he didn't, and the referee did not let him do that. That's okay. It was a walk.
Goes in the books as another turnover for Scott County, who's down 12. They've cut it from 20, I think it was 26 actually at its maximum. Inside easily for Green. That's getting back to where they were in the first half.
Beautiful cut, beautiful look, and just dropped a dime to him. That's perfect.
59-45, last minute of the third quarter. Hamilton gets a floater to fall.
That is so hard to stop. I mean, I would just absolutely clear out and let him go.
Sweet touch, he's got 17. McMullen guarded by Grigsby, another floater, gets his own rebound.
You got to block him
foul.
out.
Yep.
You have to block him out once he shoots. You can't stand and watch.
And again, Douglas they're outsized by Scott County most of the time, certainly with Hamilton on the floor. Not so much without Richardson, but now Richardson will check back in. They miss his rebounding when he's not in there for sure.
Yep.
McMullen hits the first free throw, gets Douglas to 60. The lead is a baker's dozen. Coffee frustrated right now. He'll sit down. Douglas took a good time out there when it got down to 10, and they've been able to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, they're very good time. Really, that's one of those we don't have a choice. We have to. They could cut this thing under 10 if we don't get a timeout here.
Tim Glenn has burned 3 of his 5 to this point, understandably so, the way the first half progressed. 30 seconds remaining, third quarter. Cards down by 14, trying to make a game of it here at the 25th Toyota Classic.
Frederick Douglass goes to a 2-3 zone with a new guy in the middle. Long.
Yes, that is Shamar O'Roy Ford, hyphenated last name.
Gotcha.
And we haven't seen him, but
good-looking kid.
He's
really
a tall drink of water, and he played a role in the first game against Scott County as well. Saw more playing time than he has today. Hamilton with that floater. Boy, I'm telling you what.
That's great
Just
offense
get
right
out
there.
of his way.
That's just great offense.
23 points in that quarter for Scott County. Taryn Hamilton had 11 of them, and they got back into it slowly but surely. They've cut the lead in half, 61-49 with 8 minutes to play here at the Classic.
As we discussed, Cal, at the end of 3, you need to be around the
we said cut it in half.
Right, cut it in half and be around the 10-point mark.
Hamilton with 19. He had 11 in that quarter. Want to thank all our sponsors. Want to thank my employer, News Graphic. If you're listening to this audio at newsgraphic.com, thank you. Please subscribe. Please check out all the coverage in Tuesday's edition from this exciting weekend of basketball and food and fun and friendship that we've had here. It just gets bigger and better every year. From what I hear, the rumors are we're going to have it in December. So we're going to have 2 Toyota Classics in 1 calendar year, and I think we may have an expanded bracket for that one at the 2 sites. So hoping that all comes to fruition. Sonny Denniston always does a great job pairing these teams up. Of course, Bluegrass Orthopedics, Burger King, Galvin's Greens Toyota of Lexington, Georgetown Community Hospital, West Banco, Brickhouse Properties. They all do their part. Clark's Pump and Shop.
Need a bucket here, Cal. Have a timeout.
Inside to Hamilton, yes. Get out of his way, I'm telling you.
They got seriously trying to bottle him up. He just can't do it. They're going to have to.
Green and 1. That's a big one.
That is an absolute dagger.
Crusher.
That will kill you.
That is just a crushing basket. And the and 1 to try to get it back to 13.
I mean, and it wasn't even somebody stepping over and trying. I don't know if whose man that was, but he just kind of watched him and olayed him.
Uncontested until the very last second as Green gets 3 the hard way. He has 13 on the day, and it's a 13-point lead for the Douglas Broncos. 7:35 remaining.
And Green is not going to get you anything outside the paint because he is a slasher. He's got a nice game.
Inside to who else? Taryn Hamilton. He gets triple teamed and fouled. And we'll go to the line. Searcy puts his hand straight up as if to say, hey, I did what I was supposed to do.
I don't know I think it was someone else coming to help.
I was going to say, I don't think the foul was on him. The foul was called on Jackson, his second. 7:25 remaining.
Oh, he caught it on the floor, Cal.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh. That's
wow,
what Coach.
That's news to me.
I know it.
Coffey to Hamilton for 3. Had a chance to get it within 10, gets his own rebound, goes
there
up,
you go.
There's the foul.
Did you see him assert himself right there? I thought he was going to go dunk it back.
He just went and got it. Offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds too. They just want to. And right now, Taryn wants to. 3rd foul on Jackson. That could play a factor as this game gets extended, perhaps.
Well, especially if he gets one within the next couple minutes here, I would keep going at him.
Should have gone at him much earlier.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. He went at us.
Yep. Hamilton makes both. 64-53 Douglas. 7:19 and rolling. Jarvis Bird dribbles up. Guarded by Leak. Bird to the rack. Bounce pass. And the reverse layup. Just no stopping Searcy. He's in double digits with 11. It's a 13-point lead. Down to the 7-minute mark now. Grigsby to Richardson from the right elbow, rolls it in.
He's got a soft touch.
And if he can kind of go in tandem with Taryn down the stretch and be a 2-headed monster, might have a shot, but they got to play some defense. Foul on the floor.
Got to. Everything's around the bucket. We're scoring on our end and giving up layups on the other. It can't happen.
And it's quickly.
Right.
Richardson the foul, his second of the game. 2 pair on the scoreboard, 66-55. Back to the line is Jalen Green, trying to pad that lead for the Broncos. It's a 1-and-1. He makes the first and will get the bonus. Makes them both, 68-55.
They've shot well from the line.
They certainly have. They've made 7 this half.
Got to beat this press. There you go. Now attack.
Hamilton, bounce pass to Coffey,
and one. Boy. Great athleticism for McCaleb to catch that pass. Great drop off from Taryn. Now we're looking at the old-fashioned 3 because of McCaleb's good, strong body.
Coffey got shut out in the first half. That's his second bucket of the second half, and a big free throw here to get it back to within 10. They've gotten within 10 several times. They haven't been able to get to that single-digit mark as Douglas has had the answer. Coffey misses the free throw. 68-57. Jalen Green threatened to take it to the basket, kicks it back to Camry McMullen. Three-pointer is rolled in by Green. And that'll hurt your feelings. Quick answer for Richardson, though. 71-59.
And pretty sure he got fouled.
Thought so. Camry McMullen, not spelled the same way, but a guy named Camry at the Toyota Classic. You gotta like that.
Right.
Douglas taking his time, but a kick out to Searcy for three. No. Rebound tipped around, and Jackson got it and got fouled.
We got two guys. Yeah, right. We got
one against
again,
two.
There's nobody putting a body on Searcy as he's standing there. And if I'm saying his name wrong, I apologize.
Yeah,
if anybody knows him and is listening,
that's the way it's always been said to me. I called him scarce, and I made puns on it last year, and now Bill Holland's saying it that same way. So maybe I'll go back to it.
Because he is far from scarce.
Jackson, I can pronounce. Scott County knows his name too. He's got 26 on the day after that free throw. Makes them both. Scott County has scarcely been in this game. It's 73-59. Glenn, the floater, no, gets his own rebound. Fights hard, gets it back to Coffey, inside to Hamilton, gets it stripped away.
That's what they're trying to do.
By Julius, who takes it to the rim, no good, Hamilton. Scott County trying to push it, time's a wasting, gets it inside to Micah Glenn, draws the contact, nothing called. Richardson with the putback. He has 6 this quarter. He has 15 on the afternoon, 73-61, 5:27 remaining. That's the exact final score from the first meeting, 73-61. We've still got some time, though. Three-point attempt by Green, wide open, and he nailed it. 5:10 left. Scott County will get a timeout, or somebody will get a timeout.
Back down 15. After cutting it to 10 and had the momentum rolling, they give up layup after layup, and then what that does is opens up threes, and they're knocking down the threes, too. Douglas, I got to take my hat off. They're just an all-around good team, and they are a better team than Scott County tonight, and I think they're a little bit better athletically all the way around.
Big shots being hit left and right here. That's Green's second three-pointer. He has 11. Already this period. The crowd here trying to will Scott County back into it with the Let's Go Cardinals chant, but they better start saying some prayers too while they're at it. Leak to Coffey, inside to Richardson. That sweet spot for him from that just inside that left elbow. He's had a good finishing
he can
kick.
score in there. My goodness, he can score in there.
They get him the ball there. He can elevate. He's automatic. 76-63. Douglas, you think they might slow it down, but Jackson takes it to the hole, blocked by Coffey. Out of bounds to the Broncos. Clock stopped, and that's good news for the Cardinals. Inbound to Bird. Green is a monster fourth quarter. Julius bounce pass to Jackson. Couldn't get it to fall, but he'll be headed to the line as Richardson will get called for the foul.
I would tend to think that Jackson would probably be my last guy to have open underneath the bucket.
And probably the last guy I'd want to send to the free throw line.
Exactly right.
When you're trying to play chase. Makes the first. He's hit 5 in the second half from the line, and he's got 29 on the day. Make it 30. And the lead is half of that, 15, 78-63. Frederick Douglass looking to close out the Toyota Classic. Coffee, spin move, jumper way long. Hamilton can't get his hands on it. Jackson, who else with the rebound? Jackson to the rack, blocked, kicked around. Goes to Scott County with 4:09 to play. Next foul will be a double bonus situation for Douglas, so they'll be taking a lot of free throws down the stretch. Leak, uncontested, but can't get the scoop layup to fall. And the rebound torn away by the Broncos. And Jalen Green will shoot freebies with 4:02 left.
Well, they've fought hard this half. You can't say that.
You can't fault the effort. They were down by as many as 26 in the first half. Thought they were going to get running clocked.
I did too.
In the Toyota Classic, which is a daunting possibility. But they made a game of it, but they just couldn't. That magic number of 10, they couldn't get it under. Get it to 55-45, and since then.
Which was a huge, I think that was the huge timeout.
Yeah.
By Douglas.
At that point, Scott County had everything going its way.
Right, and then they come out and score out of the timeout.
Jalen Green has 12 of his 22 here in the fourth quarter with still half of it to be played. And he makes another free throw to make it a 17-point bulge, 80-63.
Probably can't walk it up the floor.
No, I would say urgency. Urgent emergency. Drive and can't get it to fall, but Leak will go to the line and more importantly stop the clock with 3:49 left.
You think anybody else knew the Def Leppard?
Foreigner.
Sorry, you got me. And I just saw Foreigner. Saw him back
had the saxophone solo in my head.
I saw him back in June or July at one of the casinos.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they're playing these days.
But nonetheless,
Lou Graham is no longer with them.
Right.
He's with us. He's still on planet Earth, but he's no longer with Foreigner. Kelly Hansen, now the lead singer for you music aficionados. You 80s music geeks such as myself. Leak makes both, 80-65, 3:49 to play. Jackson, no need to shoot there. He'll dribble it back. Coffee guarding him. Douglas, time is on their side. 3:33 and rolling. Double bonus is on their side as well. They don't really need to shoot the ball.
No, and I hate to say we need to foul, but when you're down 15.
I'm sure Kurt Young has told them they don't need to shoot the ball unless it's a wide open layup, but there's a three for Green. No good. Young is apoplectic on the sideline as Richardson got the rebound. Leak pushes it up, dribbles it off of Bird's foot, or Bird's claw. Here from the Bird's Nest.
All about the Birds on the Bird Nest broadcast.
Nice lob inbounds pass to Hamilton. He's been quiet this quarter, but he does have 6. 17 in the half, 25 in all. It's going to be a consolation prize at this point as Douglas with a 13-point lead under 3 minutes. Trapping there Hamilton and Coffee on Green, and now Leak will foul Henderson. Henderson with only 2 points on the day, so you can hope if you're Scott County that he's cold and not a good free throw shooter. Let me look up their free throw stats. He misses the first, so maybe they found the right guy. Free throw percentages, Reed 83, Jackson 74. They're not a very good free throw shooting team, only 60.6 on the season. He does make the second, does Henderson, 14-point lead, 2:50 remaining for Scott County to try to weave a miracle for the ages. Hamilton.
Taryn has to know when he catches that you got to turn and face, then make a move. He's trying to dribble first, and they're double and triple team him.
Bird knocked the ball out of bounds again. It will stay with Scott County. Coffee inbound to Richardson. Yes, 81-69, 2:36 remaining. Richardson has
He's had a nice game.
19 points, 10 of them this fourth quarter. Douglas travels. Chance to. It's a 4-possession game with 2:32 left.
This is where Taryn throws it out and curls back in right here off the screen. Keep going.
Hamilton
Yep,
fouled by Green. Clock stops with 2:29 remaining. Kentucky kids in general and Scott County kids in specific never quit.
Never.
And you're going to have the defense for offense substitutions here as Imongo and Breadwood get ready to check into the game. Richardson and Leak will sit down. You and I would agree that's a good substitution there
very
for Tim
good
Glenn.
substitution.
He's going to continue doing that down the
You
stretch.
got to go offense for defense here, and you got to get a stop and make something happen on the defensive end.
Hamilton makes both to get it down to 10 once again. That's been the ceiling. 81-71. Pressure.
If
Coffee stops the clock quickly,
Yep.
and they'll make Bird shoot free throws.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad foul, but then again, if McCaleb looks up there, he could have drawn a charge. Bird would have run completely over him if he'd have noticed.
Bird's only taken 14 free throws all year. A couple of games are not represented. I don't think their Toyota Classic games have been reported. He's 9 for 14 from the line. They only let 1 second run off the clock there. Bird makes the first. Gives him 6 points on the day. Richardson and Leak back in the game, offense for defense. It's going to be a long 2:28.
It really is. And you know what? For Scott County, you got to extend the game. You got to make it long.
And again, Douglas, maybe the legs get weary, and you can hope if you're Scott County that's the case. Bad pass, but Grigsby saved it. Another bad pass. Grigsby gets it back. Leak drives, stops, pops, no good. Rebound, Bird. And he will try to take it the distance. Now he'll dribble out smartly. Jackson, don't foul him. Make him get rid of it. Green stopped on the baseline, throws it away. Coffee behind the back to Grigsby on the break. Fouled
Need to give
by
that back.
Bird.
You should have given it right back.
1:52, stop clock, and Grigsby will go to the line.
Yep. Chase needed a little touch pass right there to give it right back. Because at this point, kids have to understand, you don't want to shoot free throws right here, Cal. We don't want to. We want to score two and
No, give yourself a chance for
Absolutely.
2s and 3s. He does stop the clock. We will harp on that. That's the saving grace. 112 seconds remaining in the 25th Toyota Classic. Grigsby makes the first free throw. He has 11 points on the afternoon. That's everybody in double digits except for Coffee, who has 4 this half.
you hear that stat and you would think you were winning by a pretty good margin.
You would, but you've given up 83, which is unheard of for
Right.
Scott County basketball. Grigsby makes them both. It's down to a 10-point game once again. How many times have we said that in the second half? Bird guarded by Breadwood. You got to get the ball back or got to get the clock stopped. Jackson
You got to play straight right here. No use fouling.
kind of pushed off on Coffee there.
Yep.
Breadwood lost his man. Baseline drive, and it's an easy 2 for Henderson. Hamilton pushing it up quickly. Gets batted around. He recovers. Inside to Coffee. Coffee draws the foul. 1:26 remaining. McCaleb Coffee, 4 points on the day, 4 points in the half.
Yeah, he needs to. He doesn't take a whole lot of shots, but when he does get fouled, he needs to knock his free throws down.
And
That's
he's
it's 2
not
in a
their-
row that he's missed.
not their best free throw
No.
shooter. Certainly Hamilton would be the guy you'd want at the line, followed maybe by Leak and Grigsby. And Richardson's not a bad free throw shooter either.
No.
It's basically Coffee's the elephant in the room right now. He misses both.
And who ends up with it?
Mr. Jackson.
That's right.
Deshaun Jackson, not to be confused with the other one with the different spelling. Who plays in the NFL. Bird dribbling.
Oh, that's a charge. I got to call that. There
Yes,
you go.
sir. Breadwood took it.
He took 2 that time. The first one they did not call. He's a tough kid.
Yes,
He's
he
a tough
is.
kid.
That's what he does every game. Takes 2
Absolutely.
or 3. 12-point margin. That was the margin the first time. It's been a much different game in this one. Still 1:08 to play. Grigsby taking his sweet time, not sure why. Coffee inside the leak, yes. 85-75, 56 seconds, foul. Coffee gets a piece of Bird. And he will shoot 2, 55.3.
Man, I just remember we got to play them again next week, right?
Less than. Woo. 5 days, 5 nights.
Yep.
Thursday night, I believe we'll be here again on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network for that one. We'll see if they learn anything between now and then. Maybe try some different tactics.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what you can do.
First of all, you got to limit the way they're shooting the way they're shooting today for a reason. That's what you have to limit. You got to make shots.
High percentage shots.
Yes. And then you might need to, against them, who knows if a zone, they shoot the ball so well from everywhere, who knows what a 3-2, 2-3 zone would do. You have to try it.
Might be your last resort. Hamilton fires up a 3. Leak gets the offensive rebound, puts it back. 87-77, 40.5 seconds, and Tim Glenn uses his next to last timeout.
And we got an Aaron Leak sighting.
Yes, well, he's had 6 this quarter.
Yep.
And he's had 15 on the game. It has been kind of quiet.
Yep.
$10 points has been that glass ceiling. Band trying to get everybody fired up here for the finish. Timeout situation, 3 for Douglas, 1 for Scott County. Both teams in the double bonus. 40.5 seconds remaining. 87-77 Douglas. That's your game reset. Brought to you by Toyota, who will bring you the player of the game. I think Taryn Hamilton's probably got the leg up on him right now.
Absolutely.
He carried him back here in the second half. Just gave him a chance. Just haven't been able to get it down to single digits. If they could have done that in the third quarter, it might have gotten into Douglas's head a little bit. But Douglas has, to their credit, the Broncos have held firm here, and they've made their free throws. They have made a ton of free throws, in fact, 14 of them.
Oh!
Ball thrown away. So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there is a chance.
Defense, or rather offense for defense. Richardson and Leak back in.
I go ahead and throw the lob again. He has no idea when it's coming.
Get a layup using as few seconds as possible here, and that's what they'll do. Try to get an and one. They don't get the call, but Hamilton gets it to fall. 10 this quarter, 21 this half, 29 for the game.
Just trap, don't foul, no foul.
Now they break the pressure. Get it to Henderson, who gets it to Searcy, and they will
foul him.
foul
There you go.
McMullen. He's
There
the guy.
you go. Yep.
22.6.
Yep.
Clock will stop with an 8-point deficit. Well, you got to applaud the fight for Scott County. They've cut what was once a 26-point deficit down to 8 for the first time. They've got it under double digits. McMullen trying to put it back there.
They're all hit free throws.
They have nailed the coffin with free throws. There's no question about it. Gotta salute the Broncos as they have earned this Toyota Classic title. Scored 89 last night. It took them 3 overtimes to do it. They've scored 89 in regulation today against a Scott County program that prides itself on its defense. Richardson stumbles and falls. The ball goes out of bounds off of Douglas.
As Richardson is probably one of the smallest guys on the court on him.
Stolen, bad pass taken away by Bird, and they will just kick it out. No reason. I don't think there's any reason to foul, but Hamilton will.
Wow.
And Frederick Douglass cheering itself on as its small delegation of fans behind the visiting bench, celebrating a Toyota Classic title, not the end that Scott County wanted. They haven't lost. I think 2015 might have been the last time that I think that was an out-of-state team from Florida.
Yes.
Lake Brantley that came in and took the title. Deshaun Jackson, who else is going to close the deal?
31 for him.
Get them to the 90 mark. That is 31 indeed. He averages 19 points on the season, given 31 as that finally a free throw goes in and out. The final seconds will tick away. Leak will get a basket. It won't amount to much. The final score, Frederick Douglass 90, Scott County 81. Congratulations to the Frederick Douglass Broncos. Congratulations to the Scott County Cardinals on
absolutely.
a heck of a fight.
Nice ball team. I'm looking forward to seeing them play, which I know I'm going to. And congratulations to Coach Young. He's got a very fine ball club.
He's a good coach and a good man. I mean, I was so impressed last year with the way they stopped the game.
Oh,
and
that right
acknowledged
there.
Billy Hicks after the game. Class program. And good on you, Douglas.
Yep, hats off.
We're going to see them again at least a couple of times, probably a couple of times, I should say. And they earned it. They certainly earned it as Deshaun Jackson with 31. Got to give it up for Jalen Green. He had 13 of his 23 in the fourth quarter. Just a great performance by the Broncos. We'll see what the all-tournament team looks like. Our Toyota player of the game will be Taryn Hamilton with 29 points. Deshaun Jackson named the player of the game here. I would think he'd be the tournament MVP as well if they're doing that.
I don't think they do that because they didn't do one for the girls unless they do one for the guys.
No. Girls is more of a round robin. I don't know if but you're right.
Yeah.
They probably would equal it up just the same.
And now the Bluegrass Tours
all-tournament team being announced.
Just go back out there.
Deshaun Jackson, of course.
Bluegrass Tours. From Scott County,
Taryn Hamilton for Scott County.
Frederick Douglass, Violet Chad.
Bilal Chad.
He didn't get that today.
No.
Evidently
he got it in the early rounds.
Okay.
He was almost shut out. 2 points. Elias Richardson. Certainly deserving as well.
That's last 2 tournaments. He's all-tournament team.
Yes, sir.
And from the Broncos, Jalen Green.
Jalen Green for the Broncos. As Jackson and Green combined for 54 of the 90.
Do they just, is this just from both teams, all-tournament team, or is this throughout the tournament?
This is, I think it counts the whole tournament. I don't know if they're going to acknowledge the other schools. I think they already announced those.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
When they get eliminated.
Yes. That's not a bad crew out there.
No, that would be a heck of a team. I could win some games with those 5.
Yes.
It's just about perfect in terms of positioning, too. I could have Hamilton on the wing, you
yes,
know.
Yes, you got, and you'd have to, because you can,
because
you know you can go
Chad's
Jackson.
Just going to take up space in the middle.
Right, and Jackson can play point.
He's going to get garbage layups.
Now for the runner-up trophy for the Toyota Classic, Scott County Cardinals.
Scott County posing for its picture for posterity and with its runner-up trophy.
That was from buzzer to buzzer.
Yeah, that was
10 points was as close.
Wire to wire.
Right. I guess 10 points is as close as it got.
Yeah, I think they got within 9 at the end there right before, and then McMullen hit a couple of free throws to stretch it out again. Frederick Douglass going to celebrate as Queen serenading. Well deserved. Can't take anything away from Frederick Douglass as they came in here and got her done. 90-81 the final. We'll have the rematch on Thursday night, I do believe. Check your local listings, as they say, as we will tease all of our upcoming games on social media. Well, I guess we won't say any parting shots because James is going to run up the final stats.
Yeah.
And we will check those out. Hamilton must have had a ton of rebounds as well.
Yeah, I'm sure he had another double-double.
I'm dying to see the shooting percentage for Douglas, too, as it was out of this
I don't
world.
think it went much below 60 in the second half.
It couldn't have been below 50. They had to have been.
I know when Scott County cut into the lead, they took a couple bad threes there, and then there's a couple turnovers.
You know, you talk about Chad being quiet today. Part of the reason was he wasn't getting any offensive rebounds because they weren't missing any shots.
Right.
Deshaun Jackson getting the TV camera treatment down there. Morgan DeFore had a lot. I guess wearing number 1 in this tournament was a pretty good indicator.
Good number.
53.6. Scott County warmed up to 49.1. Scott County 63.6% in the second half, and Douglas actually was 9 for 22, so they cooled down. Turnovers about even, 13 for Scott County, 12 for Douglas. Rebounds even as well. +1 for Douglas, 30-29. Taryn Hamilton, 29 points, 11 rebounds. 19 points for Elias Richardson on 8 for 11 shooting. So he was 17 for 22 the last 2 days.
Wow.
Aaron Leake, 17. Chase Grigsby, 12. McCaleb Coffey had 5 assists to go with his 4 points. Deshaun Jackson, 33 and 12. 12 boards, by far the team high for Douglas. 19 points for Jalen Green. I had him for more than that. I question that. Searcy with 11. Yes, that's going to be it. Hamilton, 10 for 20. He was 8 for 8 from the line on the way to his 29, as he will be our TMMK
There you go.
player of the game. Almost got that out.
Yep.
Without stumbling here at the end of the broadcast, our final broadcast of the Toyota Classic. Glad to be able to bring you the first Battle of the Birds yesterday for the girls. Congratulations to the Scott County girls on their championship as they win it again for, well, not the second straight year because they didn't win it last year. They got upset by Lincoln County, but they get the title back as they beat the second-ranked team in the state. Want to remind you to read all the stories in Tuesday's news graphic. I want to remind you to subscribe. Pick up the Billy Hicks documentary while you're at it, as that is still available to you. It's a great keepsake. Billy's on vacation. It was weird not seeing him here at the Toyota Classic, Derek.
I know. I was looking the other night for him.
Any final words as we sign off from another year has come and gone?
No, just very enjoyable for us to be able to do this. You know, to see both the ladies and the men have good Toyota Classics. They really, I mean, I know the guys didn't get the outcome that they wanted, but you know, the ladies and the performance we got to see from Morgan DeFore last night was something that will go down in my history books as one of the best performances I've ever seen. And join us, I guess, Thursday night?
Thursday night against Douglas. We'll be
right
back right here. We'll do round 3.
Same names.
Yeah, you talk about DeFore. I remember Football Digest when I was growing up had this feature, the game I'll never forget. That'll be the game I'll never forget from this tournament for sure. For Derek Varney, for James Scoggin, for Mike Scoggin, the publisher, for DT Wells, I'm merely Cal Oaks, signing off from Toyota Classic XXV. It's been a pleasure bringing this to you. Thank you for joining us. We will see you later on this week. Back to district action as Scott County comes down the home stretch and tries to build some momentum going into the postseason. See you, everybody.